What's up, guys? Back at it again in No Lim's Garage. So where we last left off, I've made a little bit more progress since, so let me just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So we've gotten the car pretty much mostly unwrapped. I got the side panels off. The only thing left to unwrap is the side skirts, rear bumper, and the front bumper. But I'm gonna get to that later when we actually get a little bit closer to painting the car. Yes, I said painting the car. I'm just gonna attempt painting the car myself. Worst case scenario, I don't like it, I'll send it off somewhere to go get paint. But right now what we gotta do is replace my upper control arm. I don't know how well you can see that. No bueno. So I've got another one. I'm gonna go ahead and I gotta drop the bag because the bolts come in sideways from each side. So the bag is gonna get in the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop that down, yank the upper control arm out real quick, throw the new one in, and then we'll actually go ahead and get started with test fitting the front wheels, cutting up the fenders, and building the template for the flare. All right, so as you can see, I threw the wheel on, threw the fender on, and I was playing with it. This is actually aired up currently, because like before it would actually tuck fender to lip on these wheels. So it's actually not quite sitting on the fender. Like the fender has some room to move. You can't really see it, but before I put the fender on, I was playing with it going lock to lock, and it's catching on this. So I know I'm gonna have to radius pretty much the whole fender to like be able to turn almost lock to lock. The only thing that I was catching on really was that piece of the side skirt, and I don't know, where is it? This piece of metal right here that the fender's supposed to bolt to that I've never actually used. I've always just left this bolt out just because it was a fucking pain. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and zip this bracket off so that that's out of the way. And I'm also gonna give it a little bit more camber. I'm gonna max out the camber arms. Well, not camber arms. I don't have any aftermarket arms. I'm just gonna max out the eccentric bolt so that it'll actually match the rear a little bit better. I don't know if you can't really tell, but looking at it with your actual eyes, camber doesn't match, and I'd like to have at least matching camber. So you can see better on this side. Yeah, as you can see, the camber doesn't match. So I'm gonna max out the factory camber arms, see what that does, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit better clearance when turning. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we went ahead and made the first little trim here. That's just so I can get the fender on, get it so that it would sit lined up like how it's supposed to. With it, this is that aired up, so it's still aired out, gonna have a couple inches worth of drop. And I got a new pressure switch coming because it doesn't build up enough pressure to pick up the front. So I got a new one of those so that it'll actually be able to air up more than it does now. But right now we're gonna go ahead and start clearancing the bumper and on this side so that we're actually able to turn. And I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. All right, so we've got everything radiused. It clears turning, at least on the fender, left to right fully. The only thing that it hits is right there where the harness comes in. I've got it tucked literally straight up as soon as it comes out of the firewall there. I don't know how well you can see it. It literally goes straight up and is tucked all the way up as high as it can go, but it still rubs on the metal piece, and that rubber just ever so slightest at full lock. So what I'm gonna do is, once I get that new pressure switch in so that I can see if I can get it to air up just a little bit more, hopefully it should clear that. If not, I'm gonna have to build some sort of like patch panel to kind of cover that, hope to keep it from rubbing the engine harness, because I can't tuck it anymore without having to completely remove the engine harness, snake it back through and find somewhere else for it to come out of, or relocate it. And that's just a little bit more work than I'm anticipating to do. So if I can build a patch panel and get this thing to air up just enough to where it clears that, then we'll all be gravy. But I had to radius the fender, the side skirt, all the way around to the top, and the bumper just the ever so slightest. So, but as you can see, doesn't touch, you can't see in there, but it doesn't touch the frame at all. This is fully aired out, so so that's pretty much how she sits. She's all cut, at least for this side. I've still got to do the other side's fender, but I'm gonna save that for the next day. But we're getting there slowly but surely. Next is making the template for the flare so that it matches the rear, and then I have to trim the little cladding piece right there and make it all look pretty. So that's how she sits. All right, so we've gotten the fenders pretty much cut the whole way around. This is the car aired out currently, so it sits aired out. It's got clearance over the fenders. It's got the ever so slightest clearance above the frame. Like, it could still roll aired out, but I more than likely won't. But it's capable if it wants to. So next step is taking the template that I've made and transferring it to the metal and then cutting it out. So let's go ahead and get to that. So we've got the template for the lip, I guess, that goes against the wheel blade. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take some of our high gloss. It really doesn't matter what type of paint. It's just I'm using some Rust-Oleum paint, and we're gonna go ahead and kind of just mist some of this on there so we can get a solid outline of the template. And then we'll repeat that process again, but with the reverse of it so that we can make it for the other side. And then same for the actual flare part. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, now we've got the little dent from working, but that's gonna be the lip for the flare. So we still got a little bit of cleanup to do, so we'll go ahead and clean it up, get all these burrs off the edges, and repeat the same process for the other three pieces. So you've all seen me do this already once before, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut to whenever I have them all cut out. All right, we got the flare all welded on. Next step is body filler and a little bit more hammer and dolly work, but I'm gonna save that for the next video. So like, comment, subscribe. Peace.